It is hot as the backside of Satan's nutsack in this room. Hey guys. So, last live video that I shot on Facebook, I said that I was about to watch Winter Beast and I needed to rewatch Friday the 13th Return to Crystal Lake to kind of wrap my head back around it. Well, wrap my head back around it. So, just to kind of recap, with the Friday the 13th franchise being on hold right now because of the lawsuit, enter the fan community, particularly the filmmakers who have really stepped up and they've been producing a whole lot of fan films. Some really good, some not so much. So the last one I watched, Friday the 13th Vengeance, was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but, you know, show me a movie that is. Friday the 13th Return to Crystal Lake is a little different. This one was more of, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So Friday the 13th Return to Crystal Lake. Oh, I need alcohol for this one. All right. So, we open with a couple running through the woods. We've got a totally 80s opening. It's got music playing. It's got the Stranger Things font for all the titles and whatnot. So, this couple comes out to Crystal Lake and they jump in the water and they're swimming and having a good time. Off the jump, have you ever seen anyone swim in Camp Crystal Lake as a couple and have clothes on? So this is a Friday the 13th film with no nudity, which really hasn't been done so much since Friday the 13th Part 6. I mean, well, 8 kind of had about the same level, but a little bit more than 6. So anyway, for no fucking reason at all, Jason comes back, kills the shit out of these two. Poof, Friday the 13th Return to Crystal Lake. Alright, total Stranger Things opening, titles go towards the screen, you're in. And the plot in a nutshell, you have these 4 characters who have masterminded hijacking the abandoned Camp Crystal Lake for a week to pose as a camp for troubled teens. And the real plot of it, the real point of it is they're going to get all this money and then run to the hills once the kids are gone. And just basically spend the whole weekend making sure that the kids stay alive. So, I mean, that's really the gist of it. And of course, Jason shows up and kills the shit out of everybody. So, you've got Bruce, who is your stereotypical overweight, bearded teddy bear guy that everybody's supposed to love. You have Doug, who is our stereotypical stoner idiot. You have Rob, who's kind of the ringleader, and his sister Sierra. So these are the 4 that are taking this camp. So, what I liked about the film, okay? I like how they did the kills, and that was kind of a major complaint for a lot of reviewers. I'm of the mindset that I don't really need to see everything. So I liked the off-camera slash, the quick blood spatter. I have to use my imagination a bit. I liked kind of I liked the story of what they were thinking of what they were going for with these guys, you know, wandering into Camp Crystal Lake. They don't believe in the legend, have no reason to, and then poof, Jason comes back, he's killing the shit out of everybody. I mean, the first group of people Jason kills are the kids, and they got real kids. I mean, the oldest one I think is 16 or 17. The youngest, I want to put him at 14 years old, and we see these kids brutally murdered on screen. So that was kind of a jump. We haven't seen that in a Friday the 13th film. Jason typically has been killing 18 and up. So, you know. What didn't I like about this film? Well, unfortunately, that list is a little longer. Okay, so to start off with, the acting was killing me. Okay, some of that acting is really wooden. Some of the lines are recited like these guys were reading their script. Or if there wasn't a script, it seemed like they were improvising it and just not doing a very good job with it. There were times when the audio was touch and go, particularly when Bruce was... Anytime he calls his brother Benny, you can barely hear what the dude is saying. And his acting is probably the worst in the film. It's completely monotone. The other thing I didn't like the characters. Yeah, it's a Friday the 13th film. These movies are generally chock full of characters that are fairly unlikable. But they're not all assholes. All of these people are assholes. Like, at times, even Bruce is kind of an asshole. It's like, dude, I mean, really? Doug, he's not so much of an asshole. Kind of what makes him an asshole is the fact that he's going along with all of this. But, I mean, hell, Alice, Jenny, Chris Higgins, I mean, hell, even Tina from Part 7, Lar Park Lincoln's character. These were likable characters. Everybody loves Tommy Jarvis, as nuts as he is in Part 6. You know, there's nobody here to really identify with, so I don't really care that Jason is taking them out one by one. I also wasn't a big fan of the portrayal of Jason. I felt like he was a little over-exaggerated on his breathing. I mean, I got this cat standing in the doorway, you know, arms up and down a little much, and he was moving really stiff, really wooden. I guess he was trying to go for the Kane Hodder Jason Voorhees, but if you really watch Kane, he's actually not all that stiff. He's pretty fluid. When he turns around, he turns his head first. He was the first actor to really piss Jason off, so to speak. So that's just kind of like the more analytical fan side of it for me. And I guess it's because my expectations for this film were really high because I am such a Friday the 13th fan. Now, what got comedically bad for me? So in the description, this movie touts that it has Emmy award-winning music. Okay, that's pretty tall for a fan film. Yeah, they play a lot of music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. That's really well known. It's about the equivalent, like, you know, if for some fucking reason, like Iron Maiden watches this and goes, oh, we want to go hang out with that chap. And they show up for an episode and chat with me and leave. I'm not going to turn around and say, welcome to Fail Flicks. We have Iron fucking Maiden. No, I really don't. This movie had and was using unlicensed Emmy award-winning music. And when I say unlicensed, I mean they sure as hell did not get permission, which I guess with a non-profit fan film you're not going to make any money on. Maybe this production studios don't care. I don't know. Another thing that got with me is some of the inaccuracies. Now, and I guess this is maybe just the construction side of me. There is a scene where this girl shows up and she has a pneumatic air gun, pneumatic nail gun. She's going to shoot Jason with it. She unloads on him. This does not go well for her. He gets the gun, shoots the shit out of her with the nail gun, empties the clip into her, goes on with his life or death. Haven't really worked that one out yet. Only one thing missing with this pneumatic nail gun. The pneumatic part. Like, where's the air? Where's the air tank? Where's the generator? Where's the air compressor? I mean, what? I mean, give me something. Give me some sort of accuracy. Hell, run a hose from the gun up Jason's ass. Give me something. No, I got nothing. It's like, oh, well, it's an air compressed gun. Maybe I'll just pretend there's an air hose and I'll empty this fucking thing into this chick and it'll be fine. No. Granted, I know what I'm watching, okay? I'm watching a Friday the 13th movie. I should not expect logic of any kind, but there's still some logic, okay? If Jason Voorhees buries an axe in your face, it's a 99% chance you're not going to live through that. If he picks up a nail gun that's air-powered and there's no air going to it, at least give me that. So anyway, even with all this, I think you should watch it, so I'm not going to spoil it. The thing with rules like that is if you're going to break them, you better do a damn good job and have a damn good reason for breaking them. Because otherwise it's going to fall flat. We're out in Camp Crystal Lake and their cell phones work just fine. Call the cops. Oh, wait, we can't because we're out here breaking the law. But the cops show up anyway. Like, out of nowhere, the cops arrive. And when did y'all get here? Of course, Jason dispatches them, and it turns out they were really nothing more than meatbags for Jason. Another thing with this film is it's way too long. It is way too long, okay? There's montage scenes they could have cut out completely. Like, Doug, dancing through the woods. Yeah, it was silly and goofy and funny, but maybe if I hadn't had like 2 or 3 other montages before that, it would have landed better. It would have been a little more fresh. It would probably have made me feel worse about Doug getting killed because I really didn't give a shit. Things like Ralph from the first movie, he makes an appearance. Of course, not the original actor. He passed away, but I didn't need that character. Where did he come from? And even if the actor hadn't passed away, Ralph was not a young person in the original movie. And just by looking at this movie, it takes place... It basically retcons everything after part 3. And to be honest, I don't remember even seeing the axe mark in Jason's mask, so who knows? Who knows where in the timeline this is supposed to take place? And I guess maybe that's part of my issue with it, is that with Never Hike Alone, you can see that in the canon. With Friday the 13th Vengeance, you can kind of see that in canon. It just depends on which direction you want to go, because the canon splits in so many directions. Yet, here we are. We got this movie. This is poof. It's Friday the 13th. I watched the after the credits, and I could tell it was a bunch of kids having a great time making a movie. There's a lot that could be done to this in post that would just make it a more enjoyable film. Do I think they need to reshoot it? No. I do think that it needs another round of edits. I do think that it could definitely do with some shaving. We really don't need Benny at all. he could be cut completely. We wouldn't miss him. All of Bruce's conversations with him could be one-sided phone conversations. We don't need the cops showing up. Where do they come from? They literally come out of nowhere. And only one of them looks like a cop. So yeah, I give it a look. Friday the 13th, Return to Crystal Lake. They didn't do an awful job with it. It's just one of those films that needs some work. And yeah, tune in next time, and we'll see what other. I think I need to find a really crap movie, like a really crap movie, because yeah, I'm overdue. I'm really overdue. Cheers.